Because I build meaningful experiences into my lessons, I know that students are carrying it with them, that it's not just something that they're learning for a few weeks and then forgetting all about it. Students are invested when learning is meaningful.
The first word that comes to mind when I think about Eminence is community and pride. The school dates back to 1901, and it's a small rural community school.
So, my seventh graders are currently reading a book called A Long Walk to Water. A Long Walk to Water is about two characters, one who is a young girl walking to get water each day to provide for her family, and the other character, and it's about how their two stories intersect.
So I think that kind of like
The reading is mostly done at home, and then students are once a week invited to participate in a Socratic seminar to discuss their learning.
At first it showed that she was excited because there was like water, but then it showed like she was like disappointed because all the water was muddy and they'd have to like filter it out before she could drink it.
We're really studying characters heavily and what authors allow us to know about a character.
It says Naya sighed and picked up the big plastic can, yet another walk to the pond. It like kind of shows that she's disappointed, like she was super excited.
And we have conversations in class about how we make certain judgments about characters if we only see what they're doing. But characters who we get to also hear what they're thinking, we have a lot more compassion for.
It also like brought a lot of stuff to Naya because she realized what was happening and she realized.
empathy is when you put yourself in someone else's shoes or situation. The author builds empathy whenever they let you in and let you know how a character is feeling in their mind. So even if it's not what they're saying, it's like how they're feeling or their actions.
A Long Walk to Water is a really powerful story because we turn on our taps and we have clean water that comes out. It's a little bit difficult for us to put ourselves in someone else's shoes if the thing that they're experiencing is so far outside of anything that we've ever experienced before. So I want to help us do that because So to prepare for the water walk, I make sure I have enough gallons of water for each student. And then I also had them make a list of what are all the things that you used water for yesterday. And then I just really wanted them to imagine what would it be like if you had to go get all that water. All right, everybody grab a jug of water. And then we walk across the street to our football field. We walk around the perimeter for about a mile. I also encourage them at some point in the walk to travel with the water on their heads because that's how it is done in many places, just for them to get a feel for that. It's really interesting to see how their perspectives have changed from the beginning of what do you think this would be like and how do you think it would feel to after they've done it for a mile.
With a middle school student, that is not something that is familiar to their background. And so I thought it was a really great way for the teacher to say, we're going to do something fun, different, but it is totally connected to the rigor of the class.
I noticed it definitely got harder along the way. So it just makes you think like how people do that every single day, all day and night on their head.
I have like a question about some of the kids that walk to get the water. Like, how old would they be to get it?
So students usually have a lot of really great questions and also just observations. A lot of it is them noticing things. For example, one student said, it would be hard for me physically because I'm just holding this 1 gallon up on my head for a minute and I can already feel it hurting my neck. And so that opens the discussion. Yeah, and if you're carrying 5 gallons, if you're carrying 40 pounds of water, it's crushing the bones in your spine. And so just lots of really authentic conversation that comes out of that experience.
Like 4 miles of like walking with 5 times this, it like really changes your outlook on it.